Hey guys, what's going on? Pito here again. I just wanted to do a real quick video about Bystial Control post Cyberstorm access. So I'm just going to do a real quick deck profile. Won't be as edited as the last one. We'll try to get it done. I just got back in town, so I haven't been able to pick up the cards for the news from the new set that comes out next week. Pre-release was this week. I've proxied the ones that I do plan on using, but the list is really similar. We just changed a couple things, but let's get into it real quick. So for the upcoming format, I'm planning on playing the normal three Siegfried, three black metal, and one red eyes darkness metal. So there is a build that plays the new bit like branded card, the new branded level 4 spellcaster, and you drop this black metal package. But for now, it just kind of seems like a lot more is susceptible to hand traps and interaction, and a lot of decks of this upcoming format are going to play like 12 different hand traps. So this actually plays around the most because you normal summon, there's no effect on activation, so it can't be gammaed, and then you link it away into rocket and then trigger this in the graveyard. And if they try to interrupt you there, then any bestial in your hand you can still make sphere pass. So I'm gonna continue testing just these, but I am gonna try to test the other build. I'll let you know how I like it when that comes around. Um, then the bestial package is exactly the same: three Libellion, three Magnamut, two Sornir. I might try three at some point, especially if I go with the new girl instead of the red eyes package. But for now, I'm just gonna stick with that. And then one Ball Drake, one Druisworm. So exactly the same. And then for the Chaos package, we switched it up a little bit. So we have Black Dragon, White Dragon, and then I put in Chaos Emperor. I just picked this up. Honestly, you can still play the Chaos Dragon Levianair. It's still a great card. But I'm going to be testing this new one. Just the ability, it just allows you to grind a little bit more since you can add cards back from the banish zone, and it makes OTKing a little bit easier since this can actually attack and its effects are really relevant. So yeah, I'm going to be trying this out, but I will say this: it's not an auto include. If you're on a budget, you don't need to spend the money on this. Just play Levy and Air. It's just as good in this upcoming format. And then for the Fallen package, one Fallen of Albaz, one Albion. In the other version that plays the level 4 spellcaster that comes out of this set, you also want to play one of the new Fallen of the new Despia, or sorry, the new Bystial guy that becomes Fallen of Albaz. But for this version, I don't plan on playing it. In fact, we don't really play any of the tuners. We're actually not making the synchro guy. But like this package is just so good. It's three interactions off of just seals. So I'm going to continue playing this. I still like the Albion. It's still an upstart goblin. It puts a dark in your graveyard, worst case scenario. It can recycle your spells and traps if they get popped. So I'm going to continue playing this. I've thought about like testing two or three of Albion, but it just seems bad in theory, so I might not. And then for the hand trap package, this is where you're going to see a lot of like this is where the changes are going to be. So we have three gamma and the driver. Uh, Sprite's still running around, so removing the monster off the board's really important. Removing the pearly monster off the board's really important. Um, so we want to play the gamma. On top of that, with Stroll and Shifter going to be main decked, and any deck that can play it, this card is just going to be really important to stop. Like if they shotgun Shifter and you activate Gamma, it's just like so much advantage off of one card. And then we got three Ghost Ogres. Ghost Ogre is going to be insane in this upcoming format. It hits the scales. You can pop the Pearly before it gets a chance to synchro into other thing until it gets to start the Xyz climb. It's good against a lot of random rogue decks. So Ghost Ogre in this upcoming format is going to be really strong. If they don't hit Kashtira, you might, maybe play two, or you could just cut it for an even more generic card. But Ghost Ogre in this upcoming format probably going to be one of the better hand traps. And then I'm still maining 3 Droll. Not a lot of people were maining Droll in the last format, but it's going from one of the best hand traps in the format to the best hand trap in the format. So if you're not maining Droll, you're not doing something right. And then 3 imperms. Cash is still around. Reinhardt is still legal. So you're still going to need something to stop Reinhardt pass. Imperm is easily one of the most generic cards, so I'm still going to be playing it, but there is merit to drop it for Valor, especially if Cash gets annihilated on the ban list. I might test out Valor since it's light, but for the time being, uh, Imperm still really good. And then the Bystial spell trap, one of each. Not playing the new one. The new one's interesting, but it's just kind of awkward. Like there's not really a time that you go into the new one that's like a macro for extra deck monsters. There's not a time that you're gonna make that you wouldn't just prefer one of these two. So yeah, I'm not gonna play the new one. But I guess it's worth testing. But in my testing, it seems kind of more win more than anything else and 2 situational, and then the 3 chaos space. That's the main deck. We'll get on to the extra deck next, so you can see the only one change. So we have the 2 spheres. That's your normal, the 1 Pisty and the 1 Striker Dragon. And the version that plays the new, I think her name's Guiding Quim. There's some merit to dropping Pisty for the Link 1 spellcaster, especially if you're playing Valor, because you can go normal Valor, make the spellcaster Link 1, and then use a Bystial to banish it and get started into your Bystials. But right now, since I'm not playing her, we're playing the Guard Dragon Pisty. Still, it's just a Dragon Link 1. And then Dark IP. IP is on the block to be cut. It's probably the next card in the deck that might get cut. Uh, Rarely do I actually make her, but it's still a good card. It's still a generic Link 2. It's a Cybers. So if you get IP'd, you can still normal summon and link it away. So that's so like she's still in the deck, or if not IP'd, if the 1 Unicorn. If you're playing Masquerade, you want to play Unicorn, and Unicorn comes up a lot, especially with all these monsters that float. 1 access code, still seals games. So I actually have a Zeus now, and for the Xyz monsters, I'm playing a Tomb. He's on the chopping block for me too. Really, I only ever go into him if I just want to make Fallen from the deck. Since I'm not playing Gaia Charger, like making him, like if I make him, I'm trying to swing for game. And so because I'm not playing Gaia Charger, it's a lot harder to make him and then still make Zeus. So maybe I'll try to fit Gaia Charger back in, or I might just drop a Tomb altogether. But for now, he still comes in clutch every once in a while, and I love his artwork. And honestly, this is the card that made me want to play this deck because I love his artwork so much. I was like, this card's actually played right now. Let me build this deck. So for now, he's going to stay in the deck. Uh, and then the Vampire, rank 6. This card's clutch. It deals with a lot of problem cards on the field. This plus the Link 2 combo where you dark back one of their monsters, and then that and any Bystial can make this guy, because you can treat any monster you summon from your opponent as a level 6. And then he can still attack, so you just swing, make Zeus. So I really like Dart. I really like the Vampire. I'm going to continue using him moving forward, but he is another one that you can cut if you don't have him or don't like him. And then the 3 branded cards. So I know a lot of people are thinking about cutting Lubellion, because the light is just a little bit more. The light is just a little bit more universal. You're not going to be going into Lubellion as much as you're going to go into Albion, and truthfully, you're going to go into Mirrorjade the most. So some people are cutting this, but I have the spot. I'm going to keep playing Lubellion. The version that plays the Guiding Quim actually drops this for the one that requires the there's a build that plays Guiding Quim and Mud Dragon, and you make the spellcaster, the level 8 spellcaster, fusion monster, and then that can dump Lubellion. But we're not trying to get that fancy here because we don't really play any tuners beyond Gamma. And then, so yeah, I'm just still sticking with the same three. And then the only change, I dropped Lambda, might come back in, but I dropped it for Chaos Angel. I don't have it yet. Like I said, I just got back into town. I haven't been able to pick up any of the cards. This is gonna be Chaos Angel. It any light, any dark, add up to 10, and it's a pseudo towers. A lot of decks just can't deal with it, and it just becomes a problem solver for you. So that's why I'm really looking forward to picking up a Chaos Angel. Hopefully next week when the actual set comes out, I'm gonna pick it up, and then I'll let y'all know how it performs. But in my testing, it's been kind of insane because the whole point of the deck isn't to just kill. The point of the deck is to kind of take it into the mid to late game. And when you get to the mid game, you make Chaos Angel, and your opponent's already burned a lot of their resources, and they struggle to out it, and you can just continue to generate advantage with the pseudo towers that's beating face in for 3,500 every turn. So yeah, Chaos Angel is really going to help this deck a lot. And then so let's get to the side. So my side's a little janky. I need to do some more testing, but in theory it works out. And there's a lot of two ofs just because I was like, well, there's with this upcoming format with Pearly and Super Heavy and Math Mech getting played a lot. This upcoming format, you need a lot of generic options, and this deck is pretty good at being generically good against a lot of stuff. Like if you're playing against a deck that's a light or dark deck, you really don't need to side anything. So I really like this. Really like the main deck. So the side deck is a lot of two ofs, just generically good. So like I'm playing two Ash. We already have a pretty good matchup. It gets branded. So I was like, I'm not really trying to triple out on this, but it is good against random rogue. If they make you go first, and like if they auto scoop and like you put sphere whatever and they scoop and you don't know what they're playing, just bring Ash in. It's just a generically good card. You'll be able to hit almost any deck in the format something. So yeah, bring Ash in. 3 Radiant. Kaijus are good. I know a lot of people are playing Santa Claus. I don't have any. I'm hoping I just don't run into the situation where Radiant's dead and Santa Claus is needed. So that's the reason I'm playing this is because I have them. But Kaijus are still good. There's a lot of pseudo towers running around right now, so you're gonna want to have them. And Reinhardt Pass is still a thing, or Riseheart Pass is still a thing. And then you have Called by the Grave with Droll and Shifter being two of the most like main decks hand traps this format. If I'm going first, I'm bringing Called by the Grave in. I don't want to get hit with Droll. I don't want to get hit with Shifter. Droll doesn't hurt as much as Shifter, but yeah. So I want as many ways to stop it. So between Shifter and Gamma, uh, I don't want to get hit by Shifter. And then one Heart Beast for back row decks. Triple Dark Ruler, no more. This is for Sprite, which is still really popular, and super heavy. Um, yeah, it's I recommend putting this back in your deck. Kashtira is still a thing, so Droplet. I wouldn't play Droplet. I'd still play Dark Ruler over Droplet just until Arise Heart Pass isn't a thing anymore. But unfortunately, it still is, so we won't play Dark Ruler to deal with all of those kinds of decks. And it's also good against like some random like you run into a Punk variant, Dark Ruler is gonna absolutely body them. You run into some plant builds, Dark Ruler. Uh, it's it's gonna be one of the better side deck options. And then my go first cards. The decks are like Sphere Pass is already so strong. I was like, I really want less than 5 go first cards, and so with Called by being one, and then my favorite side deck card in the entire game is a pointer. If you watch any of my videos, I swear by this card. If you don't got it, pick it up, put it in your side. So one a pointer and two skill drain. I was doing two skill drain and two eradicator, but I ended up just settling on two skill drains instead of, because I wouldn't really side like, if I'm going first, I'm siding more than likely these four in if it's a back row heavy deck, or not back row heavy deck. If it's a hand trap deck, like if I know they play hand traps, I'm siding these in. If they're not playing hand traps, I'm just siding these in. And if skill drain's bad against the deck, then I'm just siding in a pointer, and we just take the L. But I think skill drain's better than eradicator right now, at least in this deck. So I'm going to be moving forward with skill drain. There's also not a lot of runic running around my local, so I might be biased. After some more testing, I'll decide which one I want to play. I also kind of see eradicator getting hit on the ban list, but we'll see. And then the last spot, it's two evenlies. I wanted more options for back row decks. I don't like that I'm basically only playing these three. I thought about maybe dropping harpies for a third evenly matched, but my decision between two evenly matched was against playing against like say Sprite. Um, we already are siding in three dark rulers against them, and so I really don't want to side in six cards. I'm not a huge fan of siding in six cards unless you have six dead cards in your deck. I really like to stick around five. So if you're playing against a deck that builds a board and is fairly susceptible to evenly, these are the five I want to bring in. And I just think Dark Ruler is going to be more impactful in this upcoming format than evenly. And with more and more people dropping evenly out of their decks, you're going to start seeing more and more trap dot decks actually making it into the later rounds. So I still wanted to have some protection against them. If I could fit Cosmic, I would, but I'm just gonna go with these three. I'll let you know how it goes. Hopefully I don't get bodied by back row decks. But yeah, that's kind of it. If you want to know my little siding pattern, if I'm going first, siding these four in if they're good against whatever the format is. If it's not good against, if they blind, go first, like it or not. Sorry, if they scoop and I don't know what they're playing, I'm just gonna bring in three ash, or sorry, these two ash, and probably leave the rest in here. Maybe I'll take out like Gamma. I'm not sure what I would take out if I don't know what I'm playing against going into game two. That's something you do have to prepare for. People are just kind of scooping and not giving out the information of what they're playing. So be prepared for that. Have a plan, a siding pattern for in case that happens. And then maybe I'd side in three kaijus. Kaijus are good against just about anything. If I'm playing against Cash, I'll probably side in, these kaijus, maybe the evenlies or the dark rulers. Just it depends on what they want to do. If they go Rise Heart Pass, honestly, if they do Rise Heart Pass, these are coming in immediately, and probably not bringing in the evenlies. But if they like to do that combo where they go end on like Arise Heart, Diabolos, and then the guy that summons Fenrir from the deck, and they lock three of your zones, then if they do that, then I'm definitely bringing in the Kaijus evenly matched and maybe even the Dark Rulers. Because I don't know, I think that's a bad play. I think that version of Cash is just bad. I'd rather just build my whole deck around going a Rise Heart Pass, especially in the upcoming format. Um, but yeah, that's the deck profile. I'll let you know after I play test it more. It's performed fairly well with the little bit of play testing I've done so far. Make sure you like and subscribe. Shout out to 254 Yugioh, aka the Village Hidden in the Ghetto. If you're in the Waco to Coppers Cove area, make sure you hit us up on Facebook. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. Like I said, I'm still fairly new to this deck. I've been playing it for only about 2, maybe 3 weeks now. So, I'll give you advice if you ask. And you can hit me up on my socials, Twitter. That's the main one. You can hit me up on Twitter. And then if you're in some of the discords like the Sun Avalon or the Bystial discords, you can hit me up on there too. And I'll answer any questions you have. But that's it for tonight. Have a good night.